I had a dream last night, but it wasn't just an ordinary dream. It's as though my body was asleep, but my brain continued thinking. And the thinking was along the lines of hip pain, hip health, squatting and deadlifting ratios. That was kind of twirling in my mind last night. Middle of the night, I wake up and I'm aware I've had this dream, and I've kind of thought about some things in the dream, and I woke up with this realization that I needed to do some high rep deadlifting to match up with the high rep squatting that I've been doing. So in the background, I don't show these clips. Frankly, it's kind of not very exciting to me at all. But I've been doing hamstring curls, just flat bench. I've got a flat bench at home, very lightweight, sets of 30, that kind of stuff, just to get some blood into those hamstrings, just to have some sort of balance to the hip, to the knee. You guys have asked me, many of you guys have asked me what I think the key to knee health is, and I really think it's hamstrings and glutes. I think that's a really good start to make on knee health. I think a lot of us are very quad dominant, and me, who is, I don't know what I am, but I squat a lot, so I must be some sort of quad dominant squatter, although I do have a lean to my squat. So you could also say that I'm back dominant. I've gone back and forth many times with some of these ideas, but I think one of the reasons that I have healthy knees and healthy hips is because I've managed to kind of work out some sort of balance in my body. I'm aware that to have healthy knee, you need healthy hamstrings. If you think about the forces that are involved in the anterior part of your leg, these big old quads that do a lot of work, and they basically bias the knee joint into a different position. And so the only thing that's countering those forces at the front is the hamstrings and maybe some adductors as well. And so you need those back or posterior muscles to kind of even out the forces at the front. Now, a lot of people that snap their ACLs is because that femur kind of glides forward, and that's when kind of the shearing forces are the greatest, and this is how you do ACLs. I've seen many NBA players, I've seen lots of Aussie rules footy guys plant their foot, or there's some sort of twisting motion, and there's kind of the leg goes forward, and if you just imagine a stronger or maybe a less fatigued hamstring from all the running, if that kind of knee was held in position a little bit better, you would have a healthier knee and maybe it prevented that injury. But the dream was about that. It was about, how do I match up the force that I'm kind of applying to my body through squatting? How do I apply it? How do I balance it out? And so recently I've been doing a lot of hamstring curls, but then, hamstring work is kind of like, it's almost like pump training. It's almost like you're going for a lot of volume. It's bodybuilding. And with squatting, I'm doing, no matter how I slice it, I'm doing way more attention. I'm putting way more attention into the squatting part than I'm doing with the pulling part. At the start of the year, this is where the kind of the thinking was. At the start of the year, I came into the year doing a whole bunch of RDLs, and I had a lot of success. And basically ever since then, I haven't had an inkling of hip pain at all. RDLs, deadlifting, good mornings, wide stance, conventional deadlifting, all of that stuff was one after the other. That was kind of the thinking. Then I got hit by COVID. I stopped that. I'm kind of going back into the stride. Ever since COVID, I've kind of thought about my lungs, thought about my fitness, and I've tried to kind of do some high rep squatting, and I've done that, and it feels great. But now I'm kind of thinking about balancing all of this stuff, and I'm having second thoughts whether just hamstring curls are going to be enough. So I find myself back in the same kind of idea of wide stance or sumo deadlifts, the way I do them, conventional wide stance, RDLs, good mornings, all those types of things. I want to place more attention into the hamstrings. I'm not feeling any pain, but I'm just trying to make sure that I don't get to a situation like I have many times in the past, where I've just hammered the hot squats too much and I've ended up with some sort of hip pain. So today I decided to do something that I have not done in a very long time. Normal deadlifts off the ground for high reps. I don't remember the last time I did that, but today I managed to do 180 for a set of 10. What did I feel? I felt my hamstrings on fire. And you guys will see the way I did it. I did it with basically touch and go. The reason why I did that is because I wanted to make sure that the tension was in the hamstrings the entire time. If you do deadlifts rep for reps, and you go to a grinding, or just you drop the weight, and you reset every time, I feel like the tension, or the time under tension, completely disappears. And a lot of guys think it's a superior way of deadlifting because it kind of makes you reapply the tension, get tight, do all of that kind of routine before you lift, which is absolutely right. But if you are in doing this exercise for the posterior chain, if you're trying to do some bodybuilding, I think it's better if you keep the tension on and do touch and go. Now, I'm not saying that bouncing the weight of the floor is going to do you any good. I'm saying touch and go. That's what I was kind of doing. You guys have seen me, many times lower the weight, like maximum weight down to the floor easily, slowly. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the deadlift. And I think that's where you get hammered on the hamstrings the most. So that's what I tried to do. Just slow movement, methodical movement throughout, pump those reps out. And by far the biggest problem in those later reps was the hamstrings. They were absolutely on fire. It's kind of like I was doing RDLs. That's kind of how I felt, except this is longer range of motion. Felt good. It felt really, really good. I'm still very weak ever since that 60 for 50 set. That took a lot out of me. So the top set today was, 220. I didn't go beyond that. Went back down to 180, hit that for 10. And then I just did a kind of minimalistic squat session where I did the bar for 3 sets, 60 for 3 sets. 100, 140, 160, 180 for ones. And then I came back down and did a few more sets with 60, and that was the session. I'm still feeling tired. That rep of 50, man, that really brutalized me. Been sleeping like a freaking log last few nights. And then last night I had this dream. About, balancing out the equation. I think balance is a big concern for me. And every single time I've paid attention to my posterior chain, I've had, good, my body's felt good, felt strong. And so I want to do that alongside all of this high rep squatting that I'm doing, which is also making me feel really good. So in a way, I'm kind of combining the top 2 methods that have worked for me in the past, and that's high repetition squats and posterior chain attention. When I do these things, I always end up in a good stead. And today's day 900, which is a big number. I honestly can't believe it. I can't believe I'm 100 days away now from day 1000. Man, if you said to me on day 1 that I would make 1,000 days, I'd think you're absolutely crazy. I never set out to do anything like this. I don't even know why I started recording. It's one of those things, man. You started for fun of it. I continued for the fun of it. It got interesting to me, and here we are, day 900. In these 900 days, as I'm sitting here thinking about, all of the different spots I've squatted and all of the lessons I've learned, I think, it's kind of funny, but, I'm coming back to the 2 most important things that I've learned in this journey, and that's posterior chain when it comes to squatting every day. I know everyone's got different kind of frequencies and training methods and training programs, but specifically talking about high frequency squatting, squatting every single day, balance becomes an issue. And if you don't, pay attention to that balance problem, if you don't try to balance it out of the equation, you're going to get in trouble. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about the hamstrings predominantly. They need to be strong. And when I think about Tom Platz, another famous beast of an athlete, I know there's many out there of people who have squatted the world, it seems. Tom Platz had a really unique way of approaching things. Very different, program to what the Bulgarians, to what the Eastern guys did. But he did a lot of reps on the hamstring curl machine. He attacked it. He attacked it like a compound lift. I don't know if you guys have seen the videos, but he was big on it. Absolutely big on it. And I still think hamstrings are key to squatting. Louis Simmons agrees with that. He's the guy that put me onto the whole hamstring kind of idea. I was kind of resistant initially, but I think it's a key, especially if you're doing a lot of squatting. Absolutely. It's one of the keys. And the other key that I've learned, and I've proved myself many times now, high rep squatting does something to me. Whether you want to call it conditioning, whether you want to call it muscular endurance, whatever, this is how I got to 200 kilos. I remember being stuck at 190 for a while, and then I read Super Squats, changed my philosophy, inspired me to kind of run after that, crazy rep sets. But it did something to me. It insulated my joints. It made me feel good. It put a little bit of muscle on, and here I was squatting 200. So I'm going back into that now. It's a different type of beast. It really is. It's different kind of curves in terms of recovery. Very, very expensive. If you have a proper, 50 rep set, you're going to be sore, and I'm sore, and I'm kind of taking the days in between these high reps sets, kind of like almost like deload sets, weeks, deload days. So today I hit 180 and I hit a whole bunch of sets with 60 kilos, which is basically like a minimalistic kind of way of me training. It's me trying to stay efficient with the technique of lifting heavy weight without doing a whole lot of volume. 60 kilos for sets of 10, just to get a little bit of blood going around, to improve recovery, and that's it. And so these two ideas on day 900, I think it's fitting, to combine posterior chain work, set of 10 with 180 and the deadlift, and some high rep squatting. I think that's a really good place for me to be. So I'm really excited for the next 100 days. Really, really excited to see where all of this is going to go. Hopefully it goes in the right direction. Hopefully I start putting up, maybe 80 kilos for 50 reps, maybe 90. I don't know. We're talking crazy stuff here. If I can get 100 kilos for 50 reps, I'm pretty certain I will be doing 180 for 15 for 20. I know it's very, very difficult to make these assumptions, but I'm thinking about now what 100 kilos feels like, and to rep that out for 50 reps, 100 for 50. I think if I'm able to do that, I will be able to hit 180 for a set of 15 at least. One of the other guys said the same thing. I think from the comment I remember, your 1 rep max is 235 to 240, I think, something like that. And you were able to do that. You were able to hit 100 kilos for 50. You were able to hit 180 kilos for a set of 20, if I'm not mistaken. No, so for a set of 15. And your 1 rep max was 235. So I think that all makes sense. And now, somebody from outside kind of looking at that, is that a really good goal to have, to aim for 100 kilos for a set of 50? Will that translate? I think it does. Obviously, it depends on where you're coming from and what your training history is. But I reckon if you can hit 100 kilos for a set of 50, man, you're pretty strong, man. Unless you are some freak of an endurance athlete. If you're a freak of an endurance athlete and you have a really small ceiling for strength, but you're just able to just process freaking, sucking that oxygen and just live aerobically through those 100 kilo sets, unless you're a supreme, endurance athlete, I think you will be able to hit 180 for at least 10. What's better for you, would you say? It would be better for you to operate with 180 kilos and just stay in there and try and eke that up rep by rep? Or is it better for you to leave it at 100 kilo weight and try and push that to set of 30, set of 40, set of 50? Right now I can hit, the other day I hit 100 for a set of 20. I think I've done it a few times in the last week or so. And it's, pretty comfortable. I reckon I could make 30 reps. 40 reps, I couldn't. I don't think I could do 40 reps, no way. So I would love to see that kind of progress. These are some things that are kind of arbitrary, but, it can mean something. I reckon, I don't know if you guys would agree with me, if you can hit 100 reps, 100 kilos for 50 reps, I reckon you'll be able to do 4 wheels for at least 10. That's what I think. And if you can do 180 for a set of 10, you probably have 220, there. So these are some of these landmarks that I'm kind of thinking about right now. And I think doing 60 kilos for sets of 50, 60, progressing that, just learning how to breathe, being comfortable under weight, all that stuff, starting slow, I think will fit into that 100 kilos for 50 and so on and so on. Anyway, day 900 done. Tomorrow's day 100, 9:01. So it's going to be a 5 a.m. tomorrow. And I'm excited for it already. Really excited. I'm just waiting for the muscle soreness to kind of dissipate a little bit, so I can start squatting a little bit better. And then probably on Sunday, I reckon I'll hit another 50 repper. All right, guys. Thank you everyone on the Patreon list, YouTube comments, and Instagram. I appreciate all of you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.